This Tuesday, September 10th, Apple will hold its iPhone-centric event at the Steve Jobs Theater on the Apple Park campus. And so in this video, we're going to go over what you can expect to see at the event. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications whenever we share a video. As I mentioned before, this is Apple's iPhone-centric event, and so we will obviously be seeing the new 2019 iPhone lineup, which we can expect to see come in 5.8-inch, 6.5-inch, and 6.1-inch sizes. The 5.8-inch and 6.5-inch will be the successors to the iPhone XS and XS Max and will retain the OLED displays, while the 6.1-inch will continue to feature the lower cost LCD display, just like last year's iPhone XR. According to Bloomberg, while the upcoming iPhones will look similar to the current models, they're going to be made from a more shatter-resistant glass that's also matte instead of glossy. When it comes to the iPhone XR, it may be available in new colors, including lavender and green. The major differences in design comes with the rear-facing cameras, as they are now housed in this large square camera bump, but includes a new setup. The camera setup is set to include a 12-megapixel telephoto lens, a 12-megapixel wide-angle lens, and a new 12-megapixel super wide-angle lens. This new camera system should bring significant improvements in photo quality, especially in low light scenarios, and the super wide angle lens obviously allows for a much larger field of view. The iPhone XR isn't getting a triple lens camera, but it will be upgraded with a dual lens camera that features a wide angle lens and a telephoto lens, much like the current iPhone XS models. Though it has a dual lens camera, Apple is still giving the XR a square-shaped camera bump so that it will be more cohesive with the other 2019 iPhones. Apple could also introduce new low-light modes that could compete with Google's Night Sight feature, and other rumors suggest new video recording capabilities are in the works that could actually let users retouch, add effects, crop, etc., all in real time while the video is being recorded. The front-facing cameras, also known as Apple's True Depth camera system, will most likely stay the same, and the notch will remain largely the same size, but there are rumors that a new flood illuminator and Face ID sensor upgrades will be featured in this year's iPhones, allowing for Face ID to recognize your face from different angles, as well as capture a wider field of view so that the iPhone can still recognize your face while laying flat on a table, which in my opinion is a huge feature upgrade because that's one of my biggest complaints about having Face ID since it was introduced a couple of years ago. There are, however, quite a few new features that are coming that are worth highlighting. Features like bilateral wireless charging, which Samsung phones already have, will let a 2019 iPhone charge another Qi-based device, such as the AirPods. So you can use your phone to charge up your wireless AirPods case or transfer power between two iPhones. We could also see a larger battery, ultra-wide band support to improve indoor positioning and navigation, Wi-Fi 6 support, an A13 chip, as well as a new AMX coprocessor to kind of handle some of the more math-heavy computing tasks. 3D Touch is rumored to be going away in favor of haptic feedback from long presses, which will replace the current 3D Touch gestures, just like how we saw with the iPhone XR last year. Generally, at iPhone events, we also could see announcements of other hardware like the Apple Watch. And while we've heard very little about the 2019 models, we have heard that new titanium and ceramic models are in the works. We can probably expect to see an S5 processor, which will bring speed and efficiency improvements if the new Series 5 models are announced. But beyond that, we don't know if there are any other notable features coming this year. It's possible that Apple also announces a few other pieces of hardware like a new iPad Pro, a 10.2-inch iPad, the long-rumored 16-inch MacBook Pro, and maybe even new information about the Mac Pro and Pro Display XDR that were announced back at WWDC in early June. But all of these devices could very well have their own event in October like Apple did last year. New versions of iOS and now iPadOS, macOS, watchOS, and tvOS have been in beta testing since their debut a few months ago, and these updates could see a release not too long after Apple's event. In fact, Apple typically provides gold and master versions of new software following its September event, with the software launch coming just ahead of when new devices release. Software releases typically happen 2 days before new iPhones are officially released, so iOS 13, iPadOS, tvOS, watchOS could see a release date of September 18th. Catalina could also be at the same time, but Apple occasionally releases its Mac software a bit later. Finally, Apple could provide us with more details on the 2 new subscription services, Apple TV Plus and Apple Arcade, both of which are set to debut this fall. Apple Arcade will let Apple users access over 100 games on their iPhone and Apple TV, as well as the Mac, with 1 monthly price and no additional in-app purchases. Now, Apple TV Plus, which is Apple's upcoming streaming service for movies and television, is also set to launch this fall, and we may hear more about it at the September event, with Apple potentially sharing new trailers, details, as well as more information on pricing. The Buy Innovation Only event will kick off on Tuesday, September 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and Apple will have a live stream available of the event on its website and through the events app on the Apple TV. Of course, if you're unable to watch, Mac Rumors will have live coverage both on macrumors.com and on the Mac Rumors Live Twitter account, along with continuing coverage throughout the rest of September. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss all of our coverage on the September 10th event, as well as any of the new products that Apple might announce at the event. And also be sure to stay locked into macrumors.com for more information. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.